Good evening and welcome to the January 16th, 2023 meeting of the Plymouth Township Zoning Hearing Board. Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
So I guess we don't
We have to continue. We got to read three separate motions. What should you do? Yes.
first.
Which really says Mike. Shit.
All right, good evening, and since it's the first meeting of the new year, we have to reorganize the board. So I guess the first is to name the officers.
I might as well sort of do this here. Is there a motion to appoint a president of the zoning hearing board for 2023?
I'll make a motion to appoint Mike Mattioni.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I think we could do a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman. Why don't you ask for
Do we have a
nominations
motion?
for vice chair?
Nominations for vice chair.
I'll make a motion to nominate Dave Armando as vice chair.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Let's have a voice vote. Everybody signify their vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and we have a secretary, right?
Yeah, I think we do
And
it.
we do have a secretary. So do we have a motion for a secretary?
I'll make a motion for Dominic Aprilio as secretary.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, let's have a voice vote. Everybody signify your vote.
Aye.
Okay, and then I guess the last thing is to name the solicitor. Is that
Yeah,
Kilkenny?
Kilkenny.
Okay, we have to name our solicitor. Do we have a motion to name our solicitor?
I'll make a motion to name Kilkenny Law as our solicitor, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Let's have a vote. Everybody signify your vote. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
the
it.
administrative side of it, correct?
That's correct.
So then the other administrative side we have three cases to continue. So,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, these, we have to do these one at a time because there are three separate applications. So we'll start with the application of Butler Pike Apartments LLC for property located at 1234 Butler Pike, Lot 1. Is there a motion to continue that application based on request of council until February 20th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Greater Plymouth Community Center?
I'll make a motion to do that, Mr. Solicitor.
do we have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Likewise, we will need a motion to continue the application of Butler Pike Apartments LLC for property located at 1234 Butler Pike, Lot 2, to February 20th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Greater Plymouth Community Center.
I'll make a motion for that, Mr. Solicitor.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, let's signify our vote. Everybody, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And finally, a motion to continue the application of Butler Pike Apartments LLC for property located at 1316 Butler Pike. And again, at the request of council for the applicant, continuing that until February 20th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Greater Plymouth Community Center.
Do we have a motion?
I move to continue until that time and date and time, Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Signify your votes.
Aye.
Okay, the The next matter on our agenda is 204 Knights Court, Mr. Stacy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the application of Joseph Califano, 204 Knights Court, Conshohocken, PA 19428. Mr. Califano is seeking a variance from Section 1909 of the Plymouth Township zoning ordinance to allow a portion of a proposed fence on his property to be 8 feet tall, where the maximum of 6 feet is allowed for a fence, and that is for property zoned C residential district.
Mr. Califano,
Yes, that's me.
you want to come up and just be sworn in?
State your phone number for that, please.
Joseph Peter Califano,
Say your last name.
C-A-L-I-F-A-N.
State your name, please, or do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter to you will be the truth?
Yes.
Before you proceed, Mr. Califano, let me ask if there's anyone here who wishes to become a party to this matter. You don't need to become a party in order to address the zoning hearing board and give the zoning hearing board your opinion or your take on the application. If you are a party, you can call your own witnesses, you can cross-examine Mr. Califano's witnesses, and you can file an appeal from an undesirable determination of the board. But again, you do not have to become a party to the matter in order to provide public comment to the board. Is there anyone here who wishes to become a party to this application? Seeing none, we will proceed. Mr. Califano?
Just tell the board and the members of the public here what you'd like to do.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for your time tonight. So, as was mentioned, I'm interested in building a fence around my yard. And so, I did have a diagram in the application. So the basic idea is I'd like to have a fence around the yard, regular 6-foot sections around the front panels and the side there, and then a slightly larger 8-foot section in the back. And so I'm making that request to have a variance from the code there. And really the reason is the photograph here, you can see that my lot is essentially up a hill from my backyard neighbor. So you can see I have pretty good visibility. We can see each other pretty good, but I can see into his pool, his spa, his deck. And so I'm really just trying to get a little bit of extra privacy with that extra couple feet. There's also a dog there, which I call like a nuisance dog, who, so I have a toddler who runs around in the yard. Every time he's out there, this dog is coming out barking. So I'm hoping that that will also help decrease some of the sight lines between our properties in addition to the privacy. And that's really it. So yeah, happy to take any questions if that's how this works.
What type of fence?
Right now, I'm just looking at a vinyl, like a white vinyl. Right now, there's nothing, right?
Right,
I'm just looking
understood.
at like a white vinyl, like privacy fence.
Would that go the whole way around your lot or just the back?
The whole way. It would be the whole way, but it would just be 6 feet in where it's shaded green there and 8 foot in the back there. And essentially, like I said, we're up a hill from them, so like
Right.
if you're standing in front of the house, you would never see. You can't see any of that back there. You know what I mean?
You would see it if you're down.
If you were down in the yard, yeah, or if you were in the backyard area, you'd see that.
If you're down on your neighbor's street, you would see it.
You would, you really, I mean, you could see everything from there anyway.
Right.
You could see it from, I suppose, the other development, yeah.
And if you're in Cardinal View, you would see your fence.
Yeah, I think is that Cardinal View there? I think it's
Yes,
Scarlet.
it's Cardinal View.
Cardinal
Cardinal View is the neighbor.
Oh, the neighborhood, okay.
So, all right. Ms. Lettis, do you have any questions?
In looking at the picture, it looks like your neighbor has a fence around the pool, but not the whole yard,
That's right, yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And where is your property line? How many feet off of the pool that's around the fence is your, I'm sorry, the fence that's around the pool?
Yeah, my property line, if you look at the bottom of the black fence that's there, you can see there's it's almost like a gutter trough.
Yes.
Kind of right there, a little bit in front of that, and it runs along the length. So the
Maybe-
fence would be adjacent to that black
Maybe
fence.
5 feet?
Mm,
roughly?
From the black fence?
Correct.
Within 5 feet. I'm not sure the exact distance there. It's pretty close to that. I think his fence is very close to the property line. So with a little bit of an offset, there may be a bit of a gap there.
Have you talked to your neighbor about putting up a fence?
Not about the fence, no.
Okay. I do not have any other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Daly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Califano, do you propose them to put the fence down close to the property line?
Yeah, essentially, imagining it's adjacent or parallel with the black fence, it would continue to the left. So it would be the back of the whole property, which is not, the whole property is not shown in the photo, but it would extend to the left in this photo.
How much distance would there be then between your proposed fence and the neighbor's black rail fence or picket fence?
A few feet, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Okay. I noticed that your neighbor on the other side has a type of fence, like sort of brown, high brown fencing. Is that 6-foot fencing? And is that are you considering using that type, or are you looking still just for the white vinyl?
Just white vinyl at this
Okay.
time. Yeah, so I believe that's custom, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Yeah, I believe it's 6 feet. Is
Okay.
fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have any other neighbors expressed any concerns or interest?
No.
Okay. And I guess the question is there, do you have like empirical evidence that an 8-foot fence will block the neighbor's view more effectively than a 6-foot fence?
I think just my estimation from the photo, if I imagine adding a couple feet here. So my goal is not total seclusion, just to help reduce some of the sight lines.
Okay.
Right. And so I became aware that the fence vendor, they have, I guess, 8, 10, 12-foot sections.
Okay.
So I thought it'd be worth trying to see if, just in that back section, we could do a little bit higher.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Aprile?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, Mr. Califano, right?
Yes.
What's the hardship? What's your hardship here? To get a variance like that, you need a hardship.
Yeah, the hardship for us is just the privacy, right? So wanting some additional privacy and wanting to help decrease the sight lines from the people who use the spa and the pool and the dog barking, right? So concerned about the dog barking with my kids in the yard when they're on the deck, want to just try to decrease that. That's the hardship.
And did you ever consider putting up 6 foot all the way around and then putting up some landscaping that grows over it? Might grow 12 feet.
Yeah, we have thought about that. Certainly have thought about that, but I think that right now this seems to be the most cost-effective and immediate option, right? I looked into some arborvitaes. I think for that height they're pretty expensive. I know some of the landscapers actually said what you would do is plant small ones and wait a number of years for them to grow high enough because the cost is so prohibitive right now. I don't have exact numbers on that, but that's what I was told from the landscaping companies.
Okay, no more questions, thanks.
Mr. Armando?
All right, so you wouldn't be here if you just wanted 6 feet all the way around.
Yeah, that's right, because that's the separate thing, right? That's the application.
So the question here is the 2 extra feet.
Right.
And you
Yeah,
came up
that's it.
with that because of the elevation of your home looking down
Right.
to the 2 feet. And do you think the 6 foot would solve the dog problem?
I think that the 6 feet helps to solve the dog problem at the grass level in the yard for sure, right? Because it's a opaque vent, right? It'll be nothing to see through. I think that the current view here, right? This dog is here in this house where these doors are.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of deck there that he sees us from inside the house. So I think that extra couple feet is what's going to help with that in that section there. If you kind of carry that
Right.
fence over and add a couple feet, I think that that's sufficient and not, trying to build something that's like crazy
Right.
tall.
All right. I mean, there is a reason behind 6 feet. It's because most adults, 6 feet isn't 8 feet. You start getting into like even a tall person can. It's just it's a standard. So the question is, is there your next door neighbor? Can he see into his house behind him? Like I guess the thought process is, are people going to keep asking for 8 feet all the way down?
The neighbor, are you talking about the neighbor that is on with the
Well, either
ground
one. I mean,
fence?
the concern is that 8 foot there, and now it's just going to be like 8 feet all the way down the property line.
So
And-
the neighbor on the one side already has a 6 foot, so I think that's settled. The neighbor on the other side, the neighbor that is effectively here, they have a kind of a simple wood, like a three slat kind of wood
Split
fence
rail?
with some, split rail chicken wire,
Mhm.
and they do have tall arborvitaes there. So they have a pool, and that is, sufficiently blocking them from view. So I mean, I don't know what the future neighbor on my side will do. That lot is undeveloped. There's not a neighbor there currently.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure, but,
I mean, ideally, the arborvitae is, or natural border is preferred. You know what I mean? As far as 6 foot is what everybody's allowed to do, and then most people go with some type of landscape barrier.
Right.
You know, so. All right, no further questions. Want to get to the bottom of that. Thank you.
I guess, looking at it, is there enough distance between your fence and the other fence for, I assume that's your neighbor's yard, for them to be able to maintain their lawn there? Is it wide enough for the lawnmower to go down easily?
There is not, so the portion that is just to the front side of that trough is my yard. So there's not going to be, once there's a fence there won't be anything to, basically a trimmer at the fence edge should take care of that. A lawnmower for my neighbor does not go there presently. Does that make sense? Like,
Between where your fence is and his fence, that's your property?
can I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This area?
Yeah, that's me here. And my line is like right here, so my mowing.
This is not the property line up here, this
property
swale.
line-
No,
is
it's actually,
down here.
it's right here.
It's
That's
way
right.
down here is the property, the
Yeah, that's
actual
right.
property line.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to then go outside of your fence to cut that?
I think the fence is going to be sufficiently adjacent to there. Like I said, I think there's a drainage. I don't know what it is.
It's a swale.
No. The neighbor put a piece of gutter there. It's not mine. The swale is this part here.
Right, I know the swale.
Yeah.
Down there. Right. I don't want to be in the swale.
On the swale.
Yeah, my property.
Your property is beyond the swale, I got that.
Yeah. So I won't be. If it's still on my property, then we can get back there with a trimmer if need be. If there's not any grass left, then it's not an issue.
For the neighbor's concern.
Right, well, it is, but you also don't want to make it
I totally agree.
problematic for the neighbor.
Right, for sure.
So that's, and their fence wasn't 8 feet tall, it's probably not even 6 feet tall. When it was out there, it looked more like it was
Looks
probably
like 54 inches.
54, yeah, the neighbor's fence, about 54 inches.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, I mean, I understand the concern about the dog, but I have a hard time seeing how a 6-foot fence wouldn't alleviate the problem rather than an 8-foot fence.
Yeah, like I said, I think it just helps reduce the sight lines. It reduces my visibility into the spa and the dog barking from inside the house coming out on the deck.
Yeah, I mean, with respect to the spa, I mean, you know you bought the house on top of the hill. He was there. He predates you, so.
Is this the line here?
so.
I don't know.
Anyway, and again, you had no comments from any neighbors?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions. Mr. Sanders?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody from the public want to speak in support of this application? Anybody in the public want to speak in opposition to this application?
May I ask another question? I'm sorry, I'm still having a hard time. Is your fence going to be on your property line?
Close to it, I think. Okay, I haven't gotten the, I mean, it's not built yet, but my intent is to put it close to my property line so that I can avoid the drainage swale, which is there. Right, so this portion here, which is,
Right.
you can see kind of the divot, I don't want to be anywhere near that. I have to be on the other side of that.
Closer to your house or closer to his house? The other
Closer
house.
to the other house.
Right.
Right.
He's going to build almost up against the other fence.
Right.
Right, okay.
Right.
But my concern is maintaining in the summer when it's weeds and,
Right. That
right,
was,
yeah, which is why I was asking if your fence was going to be right on the property line or,
that was why I was asking the same questions, because I was concerned about there being this like 1-foot gap that was really difficult to maintain between the two fences
right.
and being unsightly for your neighbor. Not so much you, because you can't see it.
Right.
But your neighbor might not be happy with that fence if there's room for a bunch of weeds to grow there and not be properly mowed and trimmed.
Right.
So, anyway, any further questions from the board?
Well, one further question. Does anybody else along your side have a fence along the back of their yard like that?
Does anybody in my neighbor, just the neighbor that is next to me now?
To your, looking at your front door to your left?
To the right.
To the right.
To the
That's
right.
to the right.
There's no house
His
on the
front
left,
door.
it's empty.
This front door, that's
that
the right.
fence.
Yeah, that's
Is
that
that up
fence.
against anything?
Your house is brand new, isn't it?
Yeah, a year and a half.
Any further questions from the board?
That's it.
I have to go back to the public comment. Is there any public comment, because I can't remember where it was, just public comment about this application? So we no public comment, and so I guess, do we have a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to grant a variance from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended Article 19, Section 1909, to allow an 8-foot tall fence section at the property located at 204 Knights Court in the C Residential Zoning District.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, let's have a vote. Ms. Lettich,
In favor.
Mr. Daly,
Opposed?
Mr. Aprile?
Wait, you made the motion and you're
You
opposing
can
it?
still vote to
Yeah,
oppose
okay.
it. You're allowed to oppose his own motion.
I opposed.
Okay. Mr. Ramondo?
Opposed.
The chair votes no. It's irrelevant at that point. So thank you for coming in tonight.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks. And that, we have business for tonight, right?
It does?
So motion to adjourn? That's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. I'm not used to a night going quickly.
That was